What's up guys, I'm back like I never left. In this video we're going to be looking at the top stocks and penny stocks to watch for tomorrow. We're going to be going over Nio Stock earnings that reported earnings today. We're going to go in detail why the stock sold off to the downside. We're going to go over COVID-19 stocks, why these major companies that are developing vaccines are selling off to the downside. We're going to talk about what happened in the stock market today and what are important economic reports that could potentially affect the stock market for tomorrow. I'm going to go over all this information, so make sure you stay tuned. Now let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so before we get into the video, make sure you smash the like button if you're new to the channel. Make sure you subscribe if you have any questions, any comments. Make sure you drop in the comment section below, guys. So the major headlines that came out today was Russia developing a vaccine. So there's been a lot of backlash against this vaccines, mainly because it has not gone through a lot of testing on humans, so that is the main reason why you see this articles coming like left and right talking about there needs to be more testing done. The Russia, they're doing it because of political reasons. They want to say they're the first one that did it. There's been a lot of backlash coming out, and when I did more research about it, there are actually 4 to 5 countries that they claim to have ordered this company. And one article even said that there are 20 countries that actually ordered this specific vaccine. So the countries like Brazil, which is hit pretty bad by the pandemic. We got Indonesia, which is hit pretty bad by the pandemic. We also have the United Arab Emirates. So these are the countries that have said that they're ordered and they are planning to produce 1 billion worth of these doses and provide them to other countries. So that is what the Russians are saying about their vaccines, even though there's been a lot of communities out there, they're warning about their vaccines. There has not been a lot of tests being done. Even the World Health Organization is saying that there needs to be more tests done on humans. If the vaccine was actually produced within the US, the trial that is going to be on phase 2 trials. So on the US, if you don't know, there are different phases for vaccines to be passed. There's like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 trials, and then after they pass all those phases, they get approved by the FDA. So on phase 3 trials, they do lots of tests on humans. So currently, even let's say for example for Moderna, they're testing on 30,000 individuals. There are different groups. One of them is a placebo group. The other one is people that have pre-existing conditions. There are people that are young, people that are different age groups. So they test a lot on different individuals and different groups. And then after they gather the results, when they find if there's something that's positive, they don't announce it. That thing needs to be also peer reviewed, and then they have to agree that this is really solid vaccine that the majority of people can use and take to get a really good result. So the test for Russia, they're not following these procedures, that they're just basically saying that they are actually ready and they're going to be doing it and giving it to individuals. So the first people they're saying that they're going to give it to are volunteers. These are people that are working on the medical field, like doctors and nurses. And they're going to be giving it to teachers, police officers, etc. And then after they do this, they're planning to produce up to 300 million doses and give it to individuals that are citizens of Russia. After that, they're going to expand and probably sell and make a profit to these other countries that are needing this vaccine desperately, especially Brazil. The cases are just significantly rising. So when we look at the majority of the stocks that are actively working on the vaccine in the US, you got, as you can see over here, we got Pfizer, you got J&J, BNTX, AZN, which is a company in England. They're actually working on the phase 3 trials. They're testing on humans. Their stocks were down, and even Moderna was down. So when we look at these individual stocks, even the first one that we're looking at is going to be NIO. The stock really got crushed today too. Also, they reported earnings too, and it went down like 23% to the downside. Not only that this news fuels it to go to the downside, but also their earnings were not that good. And they said there are really questionable things that they mentioned on the earnings report when they talked about their vaccine development in the future. And also Moderna, also this is the company that I just talked about. They're doing a lot of tests on humans and 30,000 people. So it's down 4.22%. So it still is going to be potential for this company in the upcoming months because they're going to be announcing the phase 3 trials results on November. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on it because the stock can definitely spike up if positive news comes out. And when you look at BNTX, this is also another stock that got beaten down, which is 7.44% to the downside. AZN is down, not that much. AZN is down, not that much. And another penny stock that I want to talk about, that I had a pretty good question about it on my previous video, was that this is also a COVID-19 stock. And as you can see, it had a pretty good run to the upside, fueled by their announcement about their working, of course, on COVID-19, and it's selling off to the downside significantly. So ideally, if it continues to go down to around like $1, that is really sold off position for this stock. So that is exactly the area that it broke out of. So it can definitely sell off to the downside. This is an ideal spot to get involved in it, but up until that point, I don't want to get involved in it right now because it's right in the middle of nowhere. Even though it looks like there's support over here, it's breaking into the downside. So if it can hold the $2 area, that would have been great, but it's breaking down to the downside. So I definitely stay away from this company in the short term unless it goes all the way down to the area that it initially broke out of. So HCBX definitely going to be company we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on. So that is the major news. And also when you look at the overall stock market, it had a pretty good day in the morning. They're actually going up to the upside. We had positive rallies that happened across the sector, especially when we talked about, we covered these travel service stocks, these resorts and casinos and resorts. They like vaccine news. If there is a positive news about vaccine, they're definitely going to rally. That's exactly what kind of happened today in the morning. Unfortunately, did not continue to happen because right before market close, it started to sell off. And we got Carnival Cruise, Royal Caribbean, you got the airline stocks been popping. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on these stocks because if there is a solid vaccine found, these are the companies that are going to go 100, 200% to the upside within a short period of time. So that's why we need to keep them in our watch list. And I've seen some individuals that are actually got involved in it on the dips, buying leap options. So what that basically means is they're buying options that are going to expire like within a year or two, and they're getting way far out of the money options. And I like that, me personally, I like that too, that strategy, because these stocks are the one that's definitely going to have more upside room to go to the upside. On the other hand, there are other stay-at-home stocks like Zoom. You got online education stocks that are been popping due to the pandemic. They might see a sell-off to the downside, but we're definitely going to keep an eye. There's resort stocks there that they've been going up to the upside today. So, and also the financial sectors were actually doing pretty good today. As you can see, they're the one that are super green compared to the Microsoft, even the Apple, went down today. It was having a really solid continuation to the upside. The news that came out with Apple was just that the reports that came out that the iPhone sales were down in China, but that was not still confirmed by Apple, but that is just people talking about that report from China. So Apple did not confirm it. Also Amazon pulling back minus 2.14%, and right before market close we had news that Tesla stock is going to be doing a reverse split, a 5-to-1 reverse split. So that is fantastic for individuals that want to get involved in it. So that's great news for people that want to trade options. You can definitely now afford the options, not only the stock, also the options to trade. So that is really fantastic. Now let's talk about the major earnings that a lot of people are watching, which was Nio Stock. So as you can see, Nio Stock beat the quarterly loss. So Nio Stock actually beat their estimates after strong sale results. That is really fantastic, especially for individuals that are invested for the long run. The numbers that they produced were super solid, even though the stock sold off to the downside. So as you can see over here, we're expecting Nio Stock to move either 18% to the upside or the downside, so it's well within its expected move. So that is not good if you're somebody that's holding calls or puts, because they're going to get IV crushed because it did not move significantly. So they're expecting a big move and it did not move that much, so that means the IV is going to crush your options. So that's why it's really important to, if you are going to be getting involved with options, to play their IV crush when it comes to earnings reports. But of course, if you're somebody that wants to get involved for the long run, it's a great opportunity. Even though the company reported solid earnings, the stock is down 8%, 8.59% to the downside. So as I mentioned, the numbers were super solid. One of the main things that Nio Stock really struggles with is cash. So they said they raised an offering. They did an offering, on June. They raised $493 million, and Nio have cash equivalents of 1.6 billion as of June 30, 2020. Now this is super important because they can now produce cars and exceed expectations when it comes to their delivery. So that is really fantastic for Nio, even though at this current moment they still lose money when they produce as even a single car. So that is really a great thing to know, that they have a solid amount of cash, and they are going to be projected to have really great numbers coming up pretty soon in the future too. They also talked about they're going to be expanding in other countries that have plans, but they didn't go in detail about that. So overall, if you're bullish on this company, this is one of the things that you want to see, even though in the short term this stock seems to be going to the downside. So now let's look at what are the top stocks that we need to watch for tomorrow. As you can see, we got Jumia reporting earnings tomorrow before market open. We got Cisco, we got Smile, we got Lyft. So these are the companies that we're going to be keeping an eye on to see if they can potentially provide a trading opportunity. But I'm definitely eyeing on the continuation of Nio, see exactly what's going to happen. I have a position on Nio, so I'm definitely planning to hold it to expiration on Friday to see if I can get the max profit for my position, so that's going to be the main stocks that we're going to be eyeing on. And now let's move on to what are the important economic reports we need to be looking out for tomorrow. So at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, we got the Consumer Price Index. It's going to be for the period of June. The previous month was 0.6%, and the forecast is 0.4%. Also at 8:30 a.m. we got the Core CPI. The previous period is going to be 0.2%. The forecast is 0.2%. Also at 2 p.m. we got the federal budget. It's going to be for the period of July, and the previous period is minus 8 billion. So we'll see exactly if their Fed speakers can come out and talk about that. So definitely keep an eye on at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we got Jay Powell, you got some Fed presidents that can come out and speak. So that is definitely one of the important reports that we definitely need to keep an eye on for tomorrow, guys. So, and also make sure to join the Discord chat. And also if you want to come Patreon, there's going to be a link there too. So make sure you also have a plan and solid strategy before you get involved in any positions, so, but get ready for tomorrow. Let's get it. Have a wonderful day.